Well, spring is here, and it's time to return to the saga of the two rototillers. My shed in a box caved in from the heavy snow we had this past winter, so I really don't have good storage for them any longer. And since it's almost April 1st, it's the perfect time to put these on the market so that people who are starting to think about gardening are going to be looking for tillers. So this particular one here, I've got the engine running really well now. It started on the first pull, and everything seems to be working well motor-wise, but two issues with this one. Issue number one is this one had the broken bracket for the throttle, and I picked up a new throttle lever, so we're going to install that. And then the other issue, which is the bigger issue, well, two other issues. One of the other issues is when you put the RPMs up high, this cover rattles and makes it sound like a real piece of junk. And all I have to do is put my hand on this and stop the rattling noise, and it gets much better. So I'm going to see what we can do about that. And then the biggest issue is the release here is not releasing. And at first I thought it was actually just the cable was sticking, but I tried lubing the cable. You see the cable's not going back down. But then I found out the cable's actually free. The reason why it's not going back down is because that lever right there is not returning to its neutral position. And from what I can see, that lever basically that returns based on this coil spring assembly down here. So what I'm thinking is that that shaft that rides on needs to be lubricated. So my plan is I'm going to see what I can do to take this apart and take that apart, clean the shaft, re-lube it, and put it back together. So it looks like first step's going to be to take this bolt off and open up this side cover. Well, looks like I've got to take the belt off and then remove a couple of bolts here, a bolt here, and looks like there's two bolts behind this pulley. So I got to take the pulley off. Or I'm wondering whether or not I just take this one bolt out, because that's the bolt that actually is attached to that. I wonder if that's just one long bolt that acts as the pivot for that. That would be great, because then I could take the bolt out, clean it, grease it, and put the bolt back in, and avoid having to take this all apart. My luck's not that good. It's just a short little bolt that goes in the end there. So the only way I'm going to get that slid off of there to clean the shaft and re-lube that is going to be to oh, actually, well, hold on a second. That's very loose now. That moves no problem. It just stuck again. Something else is... Oh, maybe it is the cable. Yeah, I think it is the cable. See, the sheath of the cable is damaged right there. That little cut could let water get in there and rust the steel cable on the inside of the sheathing. So just try and squirt a little penetrant right in there and see if that can work its way in there. If not, I'll have to take the cable off and see if I can't work it more vigorously. Yes, the cable's moving, but it gets caught right about there. So what I'm going to have to do is unhook this cable, which looks like the easiest way to do that is to push this down so there's no slack on it. Take it off like this, and then you gotta kind of get it off that hook spring. Now you can see I get the whole cable off. Now I can convert it. Seafoam, PB blaster, I mean, to work its way down in there. Well, I let that PB blaster soak on the cable and rehooked up the cable, and now it disengages when I let it go. So as soon as I fix that, anyways. Curious to see. I don't know if I get any rocks here. Curious to see how this tills. I haven't tried tilling with it yet. till, that's first gear without tilling, and then that's first gear with tilling. A few rocks here. Well, the ground's pretty rocky here, but that seemed unusually out of control. The thing was like just spinning and trying to drive the machine forward faster than the forward ground speed I had set. And it was kicking up on me like crazy, so I'm wondering if there's something wrong with the tines on this thing. So I decided to start up the other one. It seems to be running okay, so I'm going to try and make a pass in the same area with this one and see how this one works. Well, this one does the same thing, but I think the problem is, I just realized that this right here is set for maximum depth, which I guess would be like in good rock-free soil. You know, now that I look at it, I'm sure you don't want to be digging that deep on the first pass in uneven, untilled ground like this. So we'll try and change that adjustment, see what happens. Well, that was a lot better, but it still rears up pretty bad when it hits some rocks. I thought these were supposed to be a lot easier to till with, but it's still a bit of a hard to handle machine in this rocky soil. Well, I guess I'll finish doing what I wanted to do on this unit number 1 here. Unit number 2 really doesn't need anything. It's running well, and doesn't have a broken throttle, and the cable's not sticking on it. So all I gotta do here is put the new throttle control on this one, and then figure out how to quiet down that cover when I put it back on. And this one will be good to go. And then I just gotta decide which one to keep and which one to sell. Anyways, on eBay, came across a seller selling this control. Must be new old stock, because it was about 1/3 of the price of what it's supposed to sell for. So it said it fits this model, but the part number is different than what I came up with for a part number. But I figured I'd take a chance on it, so let's see if it's a good match. Yeah, looks good. Of course, the only thing that was really wrong with this one was that the little metal bracket broke off. But can't get the little metal bracket by itself. And actually it looks like that metal bracket is not supposed to be attached to the plastic anyways. I don't know. Well, anyways, I got a new one, so this looks easy enough to put on. I'm going to just take this out like this, and you can see the cable. You can see that when it's in this position, if I bring the cable all the way over this way, it'll actually allow that thing to rotate and come out. Alright, I got the new throttle lever on, and it works perfect, so perfect fit. I just got to decide whereabouts I want this actually positioned here. This seems kind of, seems a little far up maybe. No, it's actually not too bad. Can't really tell where the original one was. Actually, it looks like it might have been right about there anyways, so. Yeah, I think that's good. Tighten that right there. I thought maybe this bolt was bottoming out before it was putting enough pressure on here, so I put a washer in there. That seems to have made it better, but it still rattles. Certain RPM, there we go. Better, but I don't think I'm going to bother with it. Did notice one other small issue. When I put the RPMs on high, it tends to go back down on its own. Oh, now it's making a liar out of me. I'm thinking maybe the screw, if I tighten it, might create a little more friction here. Yeah, I just gave this screw about a quarter of a turn and that took care of that, so. Seems alright.